Dushyant Sharmaji from Ghaziabad.
Radha Radha.
One question keeps troubling me. Why should we do bhajan in our youth? Bhajan is for old age. Is there an age to practice devotion?
I have never shot a gun, and now I will not be able to, because I never practiced. I never shot a gun. I will not be able to do it anymore because I have never held a gun. I never practiced. If in childhood and youth you do not chant the holy name, you will not be able to do so in your old age. Since your young age, if you do not engage in devotion, you will not be able to later on. You can tell me how difficult it is to practice devotion. You're young. Give me 1 hour to do bhajan. Chant the Radha name and write it in your mind. You should be focused for 1 hour. Tell me after trying it. It is not easy. And if you've engaged in mundane things your entire life, then how can you practice devotion in old age? If you never held a gun in your life, how will you be able to shoot the target? Forget about shooting the target. You will not be able to load the bullets because you do not know how. You will not hit the target. And if you do not practice devotion your entire life, then how can your mind be focused on God in old age? Do you agree with this? Therefore, in youth, you can have sense gratification but also do devotion. You should practice sense gratification with regulation. As per our scriptures, until you get married, you should be celibate. And when you are married, you should only be intimate with your wife. Look at other women like they are your mothers and sisters and chant the holy name. That would be a good life. An adulterous life is not good. It is filthy. It is despicable. It is filled with distress and troubles. He is always agonized. Therefore, if you do not practice devotion in youth, you will not be able to do so in old age. If in your youth, in your life, you have practiced devotion, then you'll be able to do it smoothly in your old age. And if you did not in your youth, then at the age of 70 or 75, you won't be able to practice devotion. It is not possible. Your mind will run towards things it is used to your entire life. This is for sure. This is a realization. An old person will admit this. If they're not lying, if they're honest, and you ask them that you did not do bhajan your entire life, now do you practice devotion? They will say no. I'm even talking about those people who do a little worship their entire life. They too will just be focused on mundane things. And if they're used to chanting just a couple of rounds, that's all they will be able to do. But bhajan means to remember God while eating, sitting, walking, awake, sleep. And this only comes from practice. You will not be able to get this without practice. And to practice, this is the right age. Regardless of what field you take. If you tell me to play the drums, I will not be able to because my fingers are not agile enough. But in childhood, your fingers are nimble and you can learn how to play the harmonium, play the drums. That is why people start when they're young or teenagers. At a young age, the body and mind is young and can be focused on any area and be successful in it. A person was an engineer. He went to a shop and showed his degree and asked for a job. The owner said, "Here is the generator, assemble it and make it run and we will hire you." He assembled the entire generator, but it would not turn on. He tried again, it did not work. The whole day passed like this. The owner said, "Try again." It still did not work. Then he said, "I am following instructions perfectly as per the guide, but it's not working." The owner said, "Yes, I am seeing you're doing it correctly. You have studied engineering, but you did not get internship under anyone. You did not work under a mechanic." Then he said, "What is my mistake?" He said, "You just have to cut off the gas and try." And then it worked. Similarly, in spirituality, there are many subtleties that you have to know of. God is ours. We just have to accept that He is ours. And only He is ours. I'm telling you my life learning. The only thing that God likes is that we think of Him as our own. Oh God, you're mine, I'm yours. God is looking for our loving emotions, but we're not able to give this. You see yourself, to get something from someone, we can tell them, "You're my life," but we will not be able to say this to God. We have spent countless lives for sense gratification, but are unable to give our life for God. There is just one thing we're missing, and then the generator will start. It does not matter how educated you are. Unless you learn the subtleties during internship, the generator will not start. And that nuance was not written in the guide. Similarly, for spirituality,
जड़ चेतने ग्रंथि पड़ गई यद्यपि मृषा छूटति कठिनाई। अतिशय रगड़ करे जो कोई तो अनल प्रगट चंदन ते होई। समझ रहे ना?
Normally, sandalwood provides coolingness, but if you rub it vigorously, it will create a fire.
रगड़ करे जो कोई तो अनल प्रगट चंदन से होई।
If your mind is always engaged in Paramatma, you can get anything you want, but focusing your mind on Paramatma is not a piece of cake. You are young. You try and see how long you can focus your mind. Therefore, my child, engage in devotion since your youth. Then your old age can be successful. In old age, our intelligence is weaker, our body is weaker. We don't have the same capabilities we did when we were young. In youth, every sense is energized, so we should engage it in devotion. We can engage in austerity. We can conquer our senses. And if we want, we can become very sinful too. For example, in life, if you did not learn how to steal, then you cannot learn that at an old age. And if you were a thief in your young age, then even at an old age, you can fool others and steal from them. If for such greater things one needs practice, then for the topmost thing, meditation of God, practice is absolutely necessary. These are the words of Prahlad Maharaj, that one should practice devotion from childhood.
ठीक है बच्चा।